Hello and welcome to Weekly Fix. I'm your host Zane and I'm joined here with Jacob. We are firmly into 2024 now. It's first week, first Sunday of 2024. Jacob, how was your day?
Pretty good. Got a lot of stuff done today. Trying to be better this year. One of my resolutions has been to be more intentional with the free time that I have because so often I will take like an hour of my free time and I'll just sit on the couch and do nothing. So I've been like, you know what? If I have an hour, let's go make a YouTube short or something. So I got a lot of that done today. I got about 4 shorts done and then 2 long videos done today for my YouTube channels. So I had a good Sunday and I'm off to a strong start of my New Year's resolution so far.
Well, that's great. Do you have anything else on New Year's resolution that you're looking for goals wise that you're planning on doing this year?
Obviously, probably just growing the YouTube channels. Obviously, a big resolution I think for both of us is really to get this podcast to a better level. I think we've done a good job so far with us being completely new podcasters. But I'm excited for things. We talked a little bit about the Instagram that we're going to have coming out later this year, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other cool little things that we do with the podcast throughout the year. So I think just doing those things is going to be a really good time.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be awesome. Now, for those who don't know, you have Jar's Toy Emporium, which is a collector YouTube channel and Instagram, and then you also have Jar's Gaming, right?
Yeah, so the gaming channel is just started actually this year. I just started finally posting some stuff to that, and that you can find that if you wanted to look it up. It's on YouTube. It's I am Jar. That is the YouTube name for that. And then Jar's Toy Emporium. That is my collectibles page. We started off as mostly Funko stuff because I'm a huge Funko collector, but we've actually started expanding into a few more things. Like we're going to be doing some Lego stuff a lot more this year. So doing some Lego set reviews and things like that. So if you guys are even bigger nerds than that, like if you're bigger nerds than just the shows and stuff, if you're like me and Zane are of collecting Funko Pops and stuff, you guys could probably have some fun stuff checking out those things over on those places.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and link those down in the description as well, in the long comments. So if you want to hop right over to that, I'll link his YouTube page. It is a really good time. He does a great job with it, and I know I watch pretty much everything he puts out because it is very good. So and he just got a new camera and it looks great.
Yeah,
Props
that's
on
some
that.
things that. Yeah, I've still been experimenting with that because before I just used a GoPro. So having like a legitimate camera, man, it's like a whole different world because there's so many more settings and stuff and like all these things. I used it for the second time today, actually making a long form video. So we'll see if it turns out decent. But yeah, that's been fun.
Well, luckily you have someone close by who can definitely help you out with that, right?
Yes, yes.
Jacob's wife is very, very good with photography, top notch. If you're looking for someone to do some photos, she can definitely hook you up if you're in her area. So, but something you mentioned, I think at the end of last year about gaming, is one of the things I wanted to ask you today. Is you were going to do a game a month, trying to platinum or full complete. What was the term used?
Yeah, so basically what you just said, I'm trying to platinum, or if I decide to play a game that's Xbox exclusive, I want to get on the Xbox and play, get the 1,000 gamer score over on there. I made a challenge to myself because my entire life I've just played Call of Duty. We've talked about that in the past, being a Call of Duty kid. Um, I've missed out on so many games, and this past year I really started to find out how much I enjoy just chilling and playing a single player game and just streaming or something like that. So I've made a challenge for this year to platinum or 1,000 gamer score one game for every month. Now, actually, this month I'm actually doing 2 games because the games I picked are kind of shorter. They usually only take around 15 hours to get the platinum on. So I decided make it a little more challenging. I'll do 2 of them. And so this month we're actually doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the Cowabunga collection and also Shredder's Revenge. So I've never played those games before, so that's been a lot of fun. Although I'm a little bit behind. I've only played about 2 hours this month so far, so I got a lot of catching up to do.
Well,
But
you
yeah,
got
that's been fun.
you got over 3 weeks left, so well, with everything you do, I don't know if you can platinum 2 games in a month.
Yeah,
That's a lot, man.
it's tough, and that's a big reason why today I sat down and try to get a whole bunch of content stuff done for the week. So when I do have an hour or two during the week this week after work and stuff, I can just sit down and play that and try to get some stuff done that way. So that's kind of been one of those trying to be intentional with my time. If I have that free time, I better try to work ahead rather than getting behind.
Oh yeah, that no, it's definitely good. I'm also trying to be a little bit more intentional with my time this year. Um, definitely, especially with families, you never want to throw away time. You don't get that back. And
Yep.
then um, just make sure that you make the most of this life. You've only got one of them. You only got one of
Yep.
them, and
Yep.
you gotta make sure that you keep the first things first. Um, so that's your games that we're looking forward to. I'm excited what else you play. Now you're mainly a PS5 junkie outside of PC, right? You prefer
Yes.
PS5 over Xbox.
Yeah, I've always been a PlayStation Nation kid. That's kind of just what I grew up with. Even when, even when Xbox 360 was the console to be on, because I'll admit there used to be a time where it definitely trumped the PS3. I was still on PlayStation because that's what all my friends have, and I really feel like that's how most people are. They played what their friends played and stuff like that. So since all my friends had PlayStations, that's what I grew up on, and I still absolutely love PlayStation. I gotta say, dude, some of the exclusives they have come out with are so good. I mean, the Spider-Man games are amazing. Wolverine's going to be a blast, I'm sure. Just a lot of other really great games that I haven't got to play yet that I'm looking forward to, like Ghost of Tsushima and God of War and, the Horizon games. So I'm super excited for those to come as well.
Speaking of Wolverine, did you see the leaked play footage of that? Did you
Yes,
see
I
any of
tried.
that?
I tried to avoid it as much as possible, but I did see a few of them just because I was curious. Um,
So
and I
why
do
did you try
think
to avoid it?
just because. So leaks in general, I don't think are bad. I don't think it's a problem if things get leaked. I do have an issue though when the leaks come about in the way that they did for Insomniac. It seems like they were really just not no reason in particular, and the biggest problem I had with it was about all the personal information that got leaked. I think they said they had like about 3/4 of their employees' information leaked and stuff like that, and I just think that's
Ooh,
messed up.
okay, I didn't know
Um,
that.
yeah, so that's been a big reason why I was just, I don't want to give these leakers or these hackers, whether I make a difference or not, but that extra view or whatever they may be looking to get, that's just a big issue I have with that. Now, I know I watch a lot of leaked trailers and things like that when they come out, and I know it really isn't any different. I think I just had a big issue with the personal
Oh,
leaks that happened.
well, it's also different when the company is clearly showing something and somebody records it and displays it, as opposed to, hey, I'm going to go backdoor something you don't want shown anywhere and also display that. I think there is a difference there. Like,
Oh, I agree. So, perfect example is Star Wars Celebrations. A lot of the people that went to Star Wars Celebration this past year, they did get to see trailers for like the Acolyte, and they got to see trailers for Skeleton Crew and things like that. They showed those to the fans that paid to go there. Now, some of those things that got leaked, they're kind of asking for it if you're inviting a bunch of people into a room where you can't really monitor every single person's phone and things like that. You're kind of asking for some stuff to get leaked. But when it's stuff like hacking and stuff like that, I always have an issue with that. So yeah, that's been a big thing. It's been interesting to keep up with lately.
okay, well, for the footage I did see, the play looked really good. I only saw one little tiny bar fight with some ninjas, um, and I mean it was literally just you just got to see the game footage of it, and it
Yeah.
didn't tell any stories or anything, but it did look. I mean, for an unfinished game, that was pretty smooth. I thought it looked really good.
Well, that's a big thing. I thought. I mean, for a game that's not even supposed to come out till late 2025, for it to already be looking that good, I mean, I think that speaks a lot to what Insomniac is capable of, how smooth they can make a game before it even releases and all the things. They're going to have so much time to just work on some bugs and things like that. However, they did come out and say that since they were in such early progress of the game, even though it didn't look like it, because like you said, it did look really smooth and the graphics were great. They did say they're going to have to change some things now. So you know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I saw the exact same gameplay you saw, and I was blown away by considering the game is not supposed to come out till you know over a year from now. That's kind of impressive.
Yeah, I was definitely impressed. But and that isn't supposed to come out this year. But there are some things that are supposed to come out this year. And switching a little bit off of gaming, um, I kind of wanted to kind of get your feel for what we have upcoming this year. Just a quick overview. I know we don't have too much content dropping this year like we have in the past few years. We're taking a little bit of a step back. But I was curious if you had a certain show that you was like your most anticipated show of the year.
So I do have one show that I am very, very stoked for this year, and that's Fallout. I think Fallout is probably my most anticipated show this year. Something completely different that we have not ever got to see in show form. I'm a big fan of the fact that we're starting to get some video game adaptations onto like TV screens and stuff like that. I think that's really, really cool. I love things like that, so I'm super excited for Fallout. The trailer that we've seen, I think it looked really cool, and it looks like it's going to be a good representation of the game. So far, I'm sure there could be something else that might come out later on in this year, maybe a trailer or something like that. I think Fallout is my most anticipated. And that's saying a lot because we do got a couple of Star Wars shows coming out this year that I'm really excited for, such as like The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. Those are 2 shows we're supposed to be getting this year. Those are definitely 2 and 3 on my list. But I'm really interested to see what this Fallout show is all about.
Okay, so you said we've never seen it before. Do you not think that this is going to be similar to like The Last of Us? I don't know anything about Fallout. I've never played the games.
So the thing that I know so far is this is a completely different story. So where The Last of Us was based, straight up on the first video game that came out and it was just turned into like a show, this one is supposed to be a completely new story. So we shouldn't really have any idea of what's happening. We shouldn't have, this should be happening next, or we should have this to look forward to. This should be something brand new. So that's what I think I'm most excited about, because let's say it was just a Fallout 3 TV show. I would not be as excited for it, but since it is its brand new own thing, that's what's got me so excited for it.
Yeah, there is just a sense of it is more exciting to see something you haven't seen before. Just as we talked last week about like not just wanting to go back and rewatch just everything and anything, because you've seen it before. There is a point where you're like, hey, I would rather watch a slightly lower quality film than watch something I've already seen.
Oh, 100%. And that's why a big thing I'm more excited for, The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, flipping back to Star Wars, just because it is a brand new story. I mean, these are things we have not got to see yet. And so that's what's got me really excited for those shows. Is there something about not knowing what's coming? And I know a lot of people complain about, oh, I wish we were getting more of this, or I wish we were getting, this and that. And I see a lot of that with like video games where people say, oh, I'd rather get a sequel to this game than a brand new IP or something like that. Right. I love the brand new stuff. I think the brand new stuff really just brings that element of excitement to something.
Well, I completely agree. There is I think studios just have a really hard time grabbing for something new because it isn't a sure thing. And you kind of saw that with The Creator last year, right? Or The Creation. Was it Creation or Creator? Anyway, the sci-fi the sci-fi movie about AI. It just doesn't make money. It could be a good movie, but it doesn't get people in the doors anymore. And I think that's really the shame of streaming, is that people don't go to the movies for movies anymore. They go for blockbusters and only blockbusters. And that's kind of like, that's hard because you're like, that's just also like how expensive our world is today, that you can't just go to the movies. I was talking to one of my friends and he's like, I really want to go watch Aquaman, but if I take my family, it's going to be $90. And like at Christmas time, when things arise and happen, like you just can't do that. So like when things are so ridiculously expensive, it does limit your ability to go. So that maximizing profits, I don't know if they actually are maximizing profits.
Oh, and I think that's a great point you made, though, is it is so expensive, right? So what are you going to go watch if you do have the ability to go see one movie? Are you going to go see something that you kind of know you're going to like, or are you willing to take a chance to see something that you know you might not like? I mean, it is a big risk, especially, like you said, it is expensive to go to. I mean, just me and my wife, when we go to the movies, I mean, you're looking at the tickets probably going to be about $15, $20 a piece. Right there's $30, $40, and then you're gonna have to buy a drink or something like that. I mean, I always do, at least, because I'm a sucker for movie theater popcorn, right? So I have to get my popcorn. I got to get my large Coke. I got to be ready for the movies, and that stuff adds up. I mean, by the end of the movie trip, it's just for me and her, we're about $50, $60 in usually because of how expensive stinking popcorn and a soda is. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, am I gonna take a chance on a movie I might not like, or should I just go see something I know I'm gonna like?
Yeah, so that is the pitfall of just the world we live in. And then, you would be even more willing to go see something you might or may not like if you didn't have access to literally, I mean, hundreds of thousands of movies at your fingertips pretty much at any time. So that's also...
Oh, exactly. Like, why would I want to take a chance to go pay for something I don't know I'll like when I could watch something I've never seen on Netflix, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So...
Yeah, and like, so... And the kind of like the comparison for me would be like, if somebody hasn't seen Ex Machina, or Ex Machina, like I think it's Ex Machina, would they rather like go watch that in Netflix or go take a chance on the creator? And it's like, well, Ex Machina is like got a cult following. It's a really good film, so like I think I'll just watch that since I haven't seen it.
Oh, 100%. I definitely would do that myself too. Like, perfect example, like you just said. If I don't really know if this creator's a brand new thing, sure, it could be really good. It could end up being my favorite movie of all time. But this other thing is already established. It's already got a fan base. It's already got stuff I can get on board with. So yeah, perfect example there.
Yeah. So Fallout's your most anticipated show of the year. My actually anticipated show of the year is actually completely opposite. So you have no clue what's going on. I actually know exactly what's going on, and I just cannot wait. And that's actually The Chosen. The Chosen season 4 drops in February 1st, and I cannot wait for that show. It is probably my favorite show that is continuation right now that's going on. I absolutely love it. I know you haven't seen it, and you've been recommended by a lot. It is amazing.
Oh, and I have no complaint about it. It is a show I eventually need to get to. Yeah, at our church, dude, that show is like, it's like chocolate cake and ice cream, man. People are eating it up. So I gotta say, it's something I definitely got to get to at some point. Me and Danielle have talked about watching it. But yeah, I'm not surprised to hear you say that because I know how much you like it, and your family loves it too. So it's not just you.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, my uncle actually said if you don't like The Chosen, I can't fellowship with you.
I mean, he's got a point, I guess.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, The Chosen is the story of the disciples being chosen by Christ, and the story really looking from the disciples' view of just Christ's life and Christ's ministry, picking up right where he chose the disciples, and we really get a artistic rendition of the disciples' life. Not necessarily everything that is put into the show is biblical, because a lot of that wasn't said in the Bible. So they take some liberties and add some backstories to our disciples, and like Simon the Zealot, and give him a backstory with the man who was at the well of Bethesda, and give them a connection that I don't want to spoil if you've not seen it, but like it really gives a bunch of heart to the show, and really just. They really thought it out well. It wasn't just like they were just throwing things at the board and seeing like, oh, is this a cool idea? No, there is reasoning behind it. There is like, oh, that is something that the character would, the historical figure would do, because he was told to have this quality in the Bible. So they just extrapolate a little bit and tell a little bit more, and I absolutely love it. So if you love the Bible, if you love just historical documentaries, this one is amazing. It gives a very good, loving view of our Savior, and really challenges your faith. So the Chosen for me is by far my most anticipated film or show of the year.
Now I know that I guess maybe it was a couple years ago that had like, was it something that released only in movie theaters or something like that?
So they released, I think they released 2 episodes of the show in theaters, and it made a ton of money for them, because this is a completely and totally fan paid for show. This is completely like, I don't know, fan, what is it? Fan sourced? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I guess you would say that. Yeah.
Crowdsource show.
Yeah, crowdfunded kind of.
Yeah. So they took donations, and when they could, they shot the next thing, and I mean the acting in it is wonderful. The cinematography is very good. Sets are all practical. I mean, they did a wonderful job with the show. So it's not like it's just like a cheesy like. I don't know if anyone on here has watched like, what is it? The Giants, Facing the Giants. It's not a Facing the Giants quality show. No knock on Facing the Giants, wonderful heart behind that film, but it just doesn't have quite the quality that your average viewer would sit down and want to watch. So that's mine. Now, as far as comic books go, and this Invincible second season is what I'm most excited to finish. I don't know if that counts. And if that doesn't count, I know last week I said I was guarded on Echo. I'm no longer guarded.
Okay.
I'm all in.
Okay.
I just kept seeing the little clips of Daredevil and I didn't watch a single one. I haven't seen any of that fight, but I kept reading like how much like I was like, oh man, I didn't actually know that the writer of Better Call Saul wrote this, and man, I didn't know that they added this producer, and I didn't know that like we're actually like completely canonizing Daredevil. Did you see that? Did you see that we're
Yes.
completely canon now? Did I
Yes.
send you that?
Yes. Yes. I don't know if you sent it to me, but I did see that.
Man, completely canonizing the Netflix series is a massive move and one that I am absolutely thrilled that they did because there's no reason not to.
Well, to be honest with you, I think they need to do that with all the shows. All the Netflix shows need to be canonized. And I know some people might complain about that, but with the way Marvel is right now, I don't think we need to exclude those from canon. I think they just need to go ahead and include them. I get everyone saying like, "Oh, well, you can have like your different universes and all that stuff." I just would prefer if they would just canonize all this right now.
I agree. I just make it this, and they did. They made like
Yep.
so
Yeah, they
Daredevil.
made a decision.
And you can't say Daredevil is not canon. Daredevil can't be canon and everything else not be.
Exactly.
The entire Netflix, because of Defenders, the entire Netflix series is canon now. So that means Daredevil, Punisher, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Punisher. I said Punisher twice, but all of those have now been canon. So, and that was straight from Marvel. So
Yep.
now, as far as like Runaways, Cloak and Dagger, Agents of Shield, that's still up in the air, and I honestly, personally, would prefer that to go another way. I would
Um,
like,
I kind of get that. I just feel like I said, I wish with them making these moves and making everything canon, I feel like they do just need to go ahead and do all of them. Not to say that they can't change some things here and there, and maybe make some new stories, which I'd love to get some new stories of some of that stuff. But I also feel like just canonize everything at this point. Like if you're gonna do it with everything else, I feel like it's weird to not have some of that stuff canon now.
I, I'm fine with them canonizing it by saying it's an alternate reality, but I mean, if you look at Daredevil and Punisher, that is a better quality shows than what we've been getting on Disney Plus.
Yeah, they're great. They are really good. But I do think I agree with that statement. I do think what we're about to get with Disney Plus. I'm going to be one of those people. I'm high hopes right now. I think Echo is going to change a lot of that. I think
Oh,
Loki
I'm
has
all in.
changed a lot of that. I
I'm
think
all
those
in.
two shows are the future of Marvel. I think we're kind of done with these random things that don't make any sense. The way Kevin Feige's been talking, the moves he's actually been making, and then the things he's actually living up to doing what he said he was going to do. I really do think we're in a better state of Marvel than we've probably been in years.
Yeah, and it's funny because everyone thinks it's in decay, but I really think that the statement says, hard times make hard people, and soft times make soft people. You know, Endgame was such a soft time for Marvel; they could do no wrong. They kind of started relaxing, and
Oh, 100%.
this last hard time has made them really be like, okay, like if we don't fix this right now, it'll be gone forever. The same way westerns did, and I'm dead serious. I can see if 2024 does not course correct the way it should, the superhero shows will go by the way, kind of just like westerns did.
Oh man, that's a tough statement to say because like I kind of agree with what you're saying. I feel like they've lost so much viewership and they've lost such a large part of the fandom. But I just feel like there is still such a large number of them of the fans that are still there. I mean, they're still getting millions of views on their episodes when they release. I wouldn't say they'll necessarily be gone. And maybe you don't mean that to that extreme.
Well,
But
westerns aren't gone. They're still around.
yeah,
Like 310 to Yuma is one of the best westerns ever created, and it was still early 2000s.
so I feel like we would just see a incredible decline in the amount of content we would be getting.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, hey, if
Yeah,
this course correction year doesn't pay off, we're gonna see maybe one movie a year with a show,
exactly.
and
Yep,
that's it.
100%. Yep. We'll kind of see what happened to Star Wars. I think we'll see where, I mean, Star Wars went years without any content,
Yeah,
really. We would
yeah,
get an animated show a year, if that. So I could see something like that happening for sure.
yeah. So, but I'm all on board, man. Next week, I mean, I will have watched all of Echo by next week. So we'll be talking about it.
Okay, he's making the commitment now, guys.
There's
Next
there's only
podcast.
5 episodes,
Oh, is it
and
only 5? I thought it
it's
was 8.
no, it's 5 episodes
Oh,
and
okay,
they're
well then
40
that's much more
minutes.
doable. That's much more doable.
Yeah, so you could like throw it on the background and play your TMT and
I can't do that, dude. It drives me
no.
nuts. If I'm watching a show, dude, I gotta be locked in.
Oh, same. I don't even like playing on my phone.
Nope. I put my phone in like another room. I don't even want to see it.
That's right. Yeah, get it off.
Yep.
Well, cool, man. So, all right. So, Fallout for you, Echo. Really excited for that. So, I mean, honestly, by the end of February, we should have Echo, The Chosen, and Invincible should drop in February. I'm assuming.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. So, when do you foresee Fallout dropping? Do they have a date? Do you know?
They did have a date. I don't know. Let me look real quick.
I
Let me
know it's
babble on about something.
weekly
Yeah, it is, and
releases.
it is Amazon. So looks like April 12th. So we'll have a little bit of a break between the shows.
Okay,
It
so
seems
you'll have
like.
time to watch The Chosen by then.
Dude, I still gotta watch What If. Man, I'm so behind. I got all
Oh
sorts of
man,
stuff.
What If is
I'm
gone?
supposed
We
to be
already
watching.
talked about What If. You don't even have to watch it now until the next season.
It's over. It's over.
Yeah, until next season.
Just move on.
Yeah,
It's a lost cause.
The Chosen is significantly better.
I am caught up on Reacher fully now. I know it's last time.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I'm
I've
not.
watched.
I'm behind.
Yes, I have watched all of season 2 now. So yeah,
Okay,
you
so
got to catch up, man.
here's
Gotta catch up.
my commitment. Okay, so next weekend we'll talk about Echo. The 20th, the one following, we'll talk about Reacher.
Okay, that works
We'll
because by
talk about
then
Reacher.
we'll have gotten another 2 episodes.
Yep. And
I think that might be the whole season.
Yeah.
Because we're on episode. Well, maybe no. I think we might have one more. Because I think we're on episode 5 that just came out. So
Yep.
6,
So
7,
we
8.
should talk right
Yeah.
before the finale. That's good.
Yep,
That's a good
yep.
plan. Y'all see us podcast planning here on the podcast. We love it.
Yeah, dude, things are always on the fly.
That's right. All right. So most anticipated show, and then I got two more questions for you, and we'll wrap this one up. But what is your top 3 anticipated movies of 2024?
So I'd had to do a little bit of looking because I actually had not looked at a list of the movies that are coming out this
Well,
year.
let me just before you read, I'm gonna read to the listeners. This is IMDb's list for most anticipated movies of the year. And I actually had somebody ask me what IMDb was the other night, and I was like, okay, well it's the so for those of you who don't know, IMDb is a movie database. It's Internet Movie Database is what it stands for, and it gives all of the movie information and that you could ever want, all categorized in one spot. You can create a user, you can add watch list for things you want to watch, you can rate things, you can see what other people rated things. So IMDb is very, very useful, and I would highly recommend it. But their list for the movies of 2024 is number 1 would be Dune Part 2. Second is Joker 2. Third is Argyle. Fourth is Beetlejuice 2, which I actually didn't even know was coming out. 5 is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. And 6 is Deadpool 3. And then Madam Web, Mean Girls, Gladiator 2, and Craven the Hunter.
Yeah, so actually a pretty good movie. I mean, and there's still a lot of other movies. I'm looking at the IMDb list just for upcoming. There are so many movies that could potentially come out in 24. I don't think they're going to. I mean, they still have like Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse on here, which we've kind of talked about. That one's probably coming out in 25. But yeah, it looks like there's a lot of potential for movies that could be coming out this year, which could be fun. I think it could be a good year. We've talked about some things that maybe taking a chance at going to see some movies, I think this could be a year that you could probably do that a little more so than usual, and I think still have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, we only get one actual Marvel. We Sony's fake Marvel. One actual Marvel movie. We're having the one DC, right, with the only Joker,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
because Superman's 2025 and Batman 2 is 2025. So,
Man, that's going to be a good year for DC, I think.
yeah, 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
All right,
I
so
don't know, man,
what are they? Did you look them
So,
up? Did you
yes,
go for
I have
3?
my list here. Yes, I got my list here. Are we going in order from least? What do you want to go? Start at 3 and go down to 1,
Yeah,
or
we'll
start at
start.
number 1?
Let's start at 3. We'll
Okay,
give some
so
anticipation.
number 3 is kind of a movie that I'm excited for, and I definitely am putting this one in there just for the shock factor of putting it in there.
All good.
And it's not like, would it necessarily be in my number 3? No, but it is a movie that I am really excited about, and it is Madam Web. I'm going to put Madam Web at number 3.
Oh my goodness,
because
Madam Web, number
yes,
3.
because some of the things I'm seeing about this movie, not necessarily, I wouldn't even say the movie is the thing I'm most excited for. The thing I'm most excited for about this movie is what we could be getting after it. There has been a lot of talk about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man coming back after this movie.
Man,
and apparently this movie is going to be, I've heard some signs that maybe it'll have an end credit scene that has Andrew Garfield in it. And if that is the case, that would be the only reason it is my number 3. If Sony came out tomorrow and said, that's not happening, Andrew Garfield, we're not even in talks with him or anything like that, it would be out of my 3. But just the possibility and all the things that we've been kind of seeing, I told you that thing about Andrew Garfield going to that screening for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. There's a lot of things that are starting to line up, and with Beyond the Spider-Verse probably getting pushed back to 25, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Andrew Garfield, maybe some rumors or something this year talking about him being a big role in Beyond the Spider-Verse, because that's what I've heard. A lot of things are going to happen. Obviously, it's the Sonyverse. Amazing Spider-Man is from the Sonyverse. Beyond the Spider-Verse is the Sonyverse. So if we're going to get a live-action Spider-Man in that Spider-Man, in Beyond the Spider-Verse, it probably is going to be Andrew Garfield. And I think Madam Web could be the thing that kind of starts to hint a little bit more about him returning as Spider-Man.
Okay. I mean, solid reasoning. The trailer didn't hit me like it did you. I was intrigued, but it just didn't feel like it didn't catch me like it catch you. But I'm excited that it's number 3 for you. It's definitely one I'm going to go see in theaters. We will be talking about it early on the podcast, just because it is a core part of probably our viewers or listeners' interest, and I'm excited for it. It's just not my number 3.
Well, and I gotta say, I really think the Sonyverse stuff is going to start playing a big part in the MCU, because I think the MCU and Marvel as a whole is kind of looking at some of the success that Sony is having with the Spider-Verse movies, and they're going to have to start drawing some inspiration from those. I really do think so. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe after, or maybe in the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, if we do finally get a live-action Miles Morales, I still think Beyond the Spider-Verse halfway through is going to go to live action, and that's going to be him meeting Tom Holland in some form or fashion after he's already met with Andrew Garfield and things like that. So I do think that these Sonyverse movies are actually going to be kind of important for the future, especially Venom, because I have a big feeling that if we do get Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man, I definitely think he's going to be fighting Tom Hardy's Venom.
Ooh, okay. That's exciting. And speaking of Venom, that's actually my 3rd most anticipated film of this year, is Venom 3.
Okay, that's my number 4. That's the one that was battling with Madam Web, but that was the reasoning why, is because I feel I think Madam Web comes out first. I might be wrong about that. I think it comes out before Venom.
It comes out in February.
Yeah, so
Venom's
that's another reason why I put it up, is because I'm excited about it. We got a movie coming kind of soon, here in a couple months.
Real soon.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, that's funny, because if your excitement for Madam Web pays off, then you will be more excited for Venom 3.
100%. Yep.
That's funny. It's kind of like Schrodinger's cat. Like, which one? Like, you'll never know until you look. Is the cat dead or alive?
Exactly.
So that's awesome. But yeah, Venom 3. I love the Venom films. I know they're corny. They're cheesy. They are exactly a 1, 2, 3 act movie through and through. Carnage was definitely way too short and did not play Carnage near well enough. It didn't need to be rated R like everyone says. I can see that helping some people. It just needed to be a better Carnage story for me to like it more than I did. But it was still fun. It was funny. Tom Hardy is one of the best actors of our generation. He plays his role perfectly. He's very versatile. So I'm very excited for Venom 3. And I know I have a lot of friends who don't care anything about Marvel, but they all enjoy the Venom movies.
I think they're very easy to watch, right? They're easy to
Oh yeah.
digest. It's not one of those things we talk about all the time with Marvel. It's kind of hard to get into because there is so much stuff. You don't really have that with the Venom films. The Venom films you can kind of just
One,
watch
two,
one and
three.
be happy with. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, so number three for me, Venom 3. What about second for you?
So number two for me is a movie that I feel like is getting no talk lately, no hype, and it's definitely one of my most anticipated movies of 2024. And I got to say, it's almost there at number one. Again, I had another tough decision to make, which is surprising because I feel like we're probably both going to agree with what our number one most anticipated movie is. But my number two is The Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. I am absolutely pumped about that movie. I feel like it is getting no publicity. I feel like it's in post production, so it's getting ready to come out. And it's something I'm just super excited about. It is animation, so that could be one of the reasons why that a lot of people aren't, super excited about it. But I feel like it's going to be a really, really cool movie, and I'm very excited for another. I love Lord of the Rings. It's something I don't talk about nearly as much as I probably should, but I love the Lord of the Rings stuff. So that movie is very high on my list.
Yeah, that I mean, it looks great. Like the animated art that's coming out, it's not that corny. I mean, now I don't know what is actually coming because I mean we only have a few stills from it. We don't have a
Yeah,
trailer. Um, but like I'm assuming it's kind of in that very serious 2D animation. It's going to look. I think it's going to look really good. Um, and I enjoy animation so much it won't bother me at all that it is animated. It's not in my most because I just don't know where like I don't know how the story is going to be told. Right?
mm,
It's not I don't know if it's after a book. I don't know if it's a lot of people hated the TV series Lord of the Rings Ring. What is it?
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power. I loved it. But I'm not a Lord of the Rings snob. So I don't like cares too much about like breaking the lore behind it. And now I know that like that's like blasphemous to some people, but I thoroughly just enjoyed the show. It was a good time for me. But yeah, so that's cool. I actually didn't even know this movie was coming out until like 2 weeks ago.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's in post production. I mean, they're literally doing the final touch ups now with animation stuff. Animation kind of gets to post production pretty quick, but
Right.
it is still something I feel like we have not heard hardly anything about. And I feel like maybe it'll wait till it gets a little closer to really start ramping up, marketing and stuff for it. But it's kind of just blown my mind. It really has just flown under the radar. And I feel like it could be one of those, you know, sleeper movies if the animation actually is good. We could see a lot of people excited for it like we see with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse nowadays. People love that animation style. It's really an art form. And if it is as good as everyone's hoping it is, it could be one of those things we see take home quite a few awards at some of these shows. So I think it should be getting a lot of publicity. And maybe it's just because it's not quite ready to, be shown off like they want it to. But I'm excited for that time to come.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for it too, and hearing you talk about it even makes me more excited about it. So I guess in December we'll see how good it is. I don't think it's going to be as good as Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mayhem.
I'm not going to even put it on that level yet either, because it's brand new. We've never seen Lord of the Rings in animation form, so it could be something that doesn't translate well at all. So
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons. I mean, there are a lot of reasons to be skeptical about the movie, but I still am going to give it. I'm definitely going to be seeing it in the theaters. I might have to drag my wife to that one because she's not the biggest fan of animation, so she'll have to come anyway. But I am excited for that one.
All right. My number two, we talked about it before. It's not on your list because you don't like it, but Dune Part Two is my number two. Anticipated. I'm really excited. This one's going to be the action-packed sequel that the first one set up for 3 hours. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. And then Timothy Chalamet is just such a good front man. I mean, for the number he's bringing in on Wonka. I mean, I'm very excited. It's got a absolutely star-studded cast. Austin Butler is going to be pretty prominent in this one, I believe. So I am very excited to experience Dune in the theaters this spring.
So I gotta say, I'm gonna go see this movie in the theaters because I didn't see the first one in the movie theaters, and I feel like that might have been a bigger mistake because apparently it was a really good movie theater movie. So I'm gonna go see this one. I am gonna give it like them another chance. I'm gonna go in there. I'm probably gonna watch the first one again before just to refresh myself.
Oh,
But
for
I'm gonna
sure.
like I know how excited you are for this one, so I'm gonna go see this one in the movies as well. But yeah, so I can't fault you for that one. The trailers do look good. It does look a lot more action packed than the first one, which I'm hoping is definitely the case. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can't fault you for that.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you can't fault me for it, but I mean, it seems pretty easy for me, and then we both know what our number ones are. Like, if it
Yep.
wasn't number two, we know it's number one.
Yeah,
And
and
what
I'll
is
go
it?
ahead and say it. I'll go ahead and say it. Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yes,
I'm absolutely
absolutely. Kung Fu Panda, man. I cannot wait to see Poe back on the big screen.
yes,
Jack
yes.
Black.
I'm so pumped for this movie. We get to see the Dragon Warrior back in action, man.
Oh,
This is gonna be
man.
the blockbuster movie of the year. But no, Deadpool 3. I'm
That's
super
right.
excited for this one. I think this one's gonna break some records. I really do. I think.
Ooh, breaking records.
Yes, I think it's got the hype. Everyone, I can't tell you the amount of people that I am friends with that have lost hope in Marvel. They don't watch the shows anymore. They don't even go to the movies for the new movies that are coming out. But all of them are going to see Deadpool 3 in the movies. So
Okay.
that alone has kind of shown me and told me this movie's going to be crazy. I think this one's going to be. I think it's going to pass No Way Home in the box office, and I think it's going to come very, very close to touching potentially Infinity War and Endgame. I really think it's got that push. You're talking about Hugh Jackman, who is probably got one of the biggest cult followings of a fan base in all of Marvel. And him coming back, it looking to be the comic accurate Wolverine, I think this one's going to do some insane numbers.
So just to be clear, on record, you are saying this movie will make more than $1 billion.
I think it's going to. I really do. I just the push.
Wow.
I also think something that's going to help it, dude. We haven't even gotten a trailer for the movie. Not even a single trailer. And how often are people in this space talking about it? Usually, I know it's Marvel. I know it's all that. I know people like to speculate about stuff. We're not even getting a trailer probably till next month. A lot of people are expecting it to premiere during the Super Bowl. Dude, I think this movie is going to do. I think it's going to break $1 billion. I think it's going to. I'm scared for what it's going to do for Marvel because they are in kind of a rebuilding phase right now. And I'm kind of worried that they're going to be like, oh, that movie was too good. They're going to relax again. I really hope that's not the case, but I'm going to go ahead and say I think it breaks $1 billion.
Breaks $1 billion. Okay. All right. Well, I will go into sub $1 billion, more than 750K or 750 million.
So you're saying right around there?
Right. I think it's gonna miss the mark just barely. Is my guess. So
I don't know,
I
man.
don't think
I'm
it
telling
beats.
you, I just.
I don't think Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds pull the amount of fandom that Tom Holland and the two Spider-Man do. Right? I know Ryan Reynolds is absolutely amazing. Hugh Jackman has a big fan base. But I feel like the Spider-Man IPO is better than Deadpool. It is more beloved. It has a bigger casted net, and it is playing on the same thing. If we're saying, hey, those fans, nostalgia is going to bring in the fans, well, we saw what it did for No Way Home, for the biggest IPO Marvel has. and the most nostalgia they could have pulled from. Right? I don't think you can do more than that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I don't know that it's necessarily going to break No Way Home. I don't know if it's going to break Endgame. I'm not saying that. I do think it's going to rival them. I think we're going to see it get close, and I think it's going to be one of those things that if it is as good as everyone's hoping it is, if it does live up to the expectations, I could see it being one of those things that just kind of, it becomes one of those things you just go to watch just to say you watched. It becomes one of those things that even non-superhero fans are going to see just because they want to jump in on all the hype. We haven't had a movie like this since No Way Home. That came out in 2021. I mean, we're in 2024 now. That's 3 years ago. I really think this movie is going to just do absolute numbers. I think it's going to be huge.
I think it's going to make numbers too. Just I don't know if it's $1 billion, man. That's so much money.
I think I get it, but man, I think it's going to be. I have high hopes for it, and maybe I'm being optimistic about it. But we haven't even seen a trailer, and everyone is talking about it. So I don't know. And if the trailer starts to show things like we start seeing some other superheroes in there. If we see, I don't know, if we just see something that we haven't seen, what if there's like a Fantastic Four or something in there? We start seeing these multiverses start to really clash. We start seeing people that we haven't seen in the MCU start to come in. I think it could be crazy. I really think it's just going to be one of those things that everyone goes to see just to see it.
Okay. I mean, I am hoping so. I'm hoping it is that movie. I really do. I just don't know. I'm guarded on that one as much as I can be. I'm guarded with that saying it's still my most anticipated film of the year. But I like that's how much I want to like think this movie's going to be that good. I just I don't know. I hope so. My faith's in Ryan Reynolds. He is absolutely incredible. And the same creative team is coming back. They do a great job with that character. So I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that one, man. I think it's just got so much potential. We're finally getting to see Deadpool again. He's in the MCU now. I mean, this changes everything for Marvel moving forward. I just think it's going to be crazy. I'm super excited for that movie, though. I don't know if I've been this excited for a movie in a long time, so that's got me really excited. I think it's going to be a good year for not just Marvel. We've talked about some of the other things we're excited for this year. I think it's going to be a good year for entertainment in general. I think we just have so much to look forward to.
I agree. Now, with things to look forward to, also comes things that we don't look forward to. What is your least anticipated comic book movie of the year? Because we could have said movie of the year, and it would have been like some Netflix movie. I don't know. But no, comic book movie that's releasing this year. What's your least excited movie?
Joker 2.
Ah, dude, that's mine too.
I literally,
oh my goodness,
could not care less about Joker 2. Man. I don't like the first one. I think the first one is just a bad movie. I don't understand why it's got all of this hype and people are like, "Oh man, Joaquin Phoenix, he did great." I think he did it great, but that movie it did nothing. The story didn't go anywhere. All it was about was just him being a psycho the entire time. It did not do anything for me, and I don't know why people are excited for the second one. Sure, Joaquin Phoenix is going to be great, and he's probably going to win more awards like he did for the first one. But is Lady Gaga the secondary role? I mean, come on, guys.
She's Harley Quinn. She's Harley Quinn. Guys. The movie is a musical, and there's no Batman.
Yeah. I can tell you one movie I will not be taking a chance on in the movie theater this year, and that is Joker 2. I don't know what is it. Whoever, I don't even know if that's part of DC. I don't know how that movie
it's
works.
Elseworld. It's Elseworld.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know what they're thinking, man. A musical, it just I'm good. You can forget that one.
I'm gonna tell you, dude. The first one, I was like, man, if you wanted to watch Taxi Driver, just go watch a good movie.
Yeah, it's just made. That movie was terrible, dude. And I've had so many arguments over the years about people saying that was a great movie and it really showed awareness to like all these things. I was like, we just must have watched two different movies because all I saw was just some dude that had an annoying laugh, and it wasn't even like the Joker's laugh because he couldn't even really control it. He just had like some disease. I'm good. No, we move on to the next thing.
Yeah, dude, seriously, you can hate all day, and I'm happy with you. You know, we like to disagree on this podcast. We are not disagreeing right now. Man, literally, I told somebody, I was like, man, if you want to say that's a good movie, that's fine, but don't call it a Joker movie. It was a freaking Joker. Joker without the Batman, and he was stupid.
You can't.
He was
you
stupid.
can't have Joker without the Batman. No. Yeah. What is the point? Like, he's just a bad guy that just runs around on the streets, you know, hanging out of cars, you know, shooting people. Like, what's the point? Like, do we not have a hero to stop this? I mean, nah, dude, it made no sense. So
it was dumb.
Joker 2.
Joker 2.
Oh man,
it's our estimated worst, least anticipated film of the year, and one we'll probably like the least. That we will maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna waste my time on it unless it just gets all the rewards. And the last one everyone loved anyway, and I still was like, I don't get it. I don't get why you like it.
I didn't get it either.
Like, let's just go watch Taxi Driver if you want a movie like this. I mean, have you seen Taxi Driver?
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. The people, when I kept hearing people say that Joker was this and it was that, and it sucked too because I really was I was hopeful for that movie because I think the Joker is such a great villain and all this stuff, and then I started hearing that Batman wasn't even going to be in it. I mean, he was. We saw like a little Bruce Wayne, which
made
the timelines.
That is
we made the timelines even more confusing because he was literally like a child. So I don't know. But
yeah, unless we have a flash forward of 18 years, you know.
In which case, the Joker should be like his deathbed. I mean, he shouldn't be running around and singing. He's singing now. So
how fast do you think people die?
How old was he in the movie?
He was like 30 something, right?
Okay, so he's gonna be like 50. I don't know, man. A 50-year-old going up against like a prime Batman. It would just make no sense. So.
Maybe he grew in intelligence in the insane asylum, singing his heart out.
Well, he's gonna be singing with Harley Quinn, so I guess
right,
I'm sure they're gonna win awards, and I'm just so gonna disagree with it. But yeah, that's the world we live in nowadays.
That's how it goes. We disagree with a lot, but we enjoy it. So, hey guys, thanks for listening this week. Like I said before, I'm gonna put all the ways to find us in the podcast. We have a great we have a Twitter account coming soon, Instagram coming soon. We just really want to make sure that we have some content that we can throw at those before we make them. We don't want to just create it and then let it sit stagnant for a while. So, but Jacob, we're gonna tag his YouTube channels in the description so that you can know where to find him. And then if you want to reach out to us with comments and questions, if you want to disagree with us and blow us up for how good the Joker was, please make it, send it our way. Let us know. I'm curious. I want to hear somebody say it was good, and put some backing behind it because, man, I just don't have it. But
and it's okay to be wrong. We're not saying, go ahead and be wrong, but
yeah, we love to hear the opinions. Like, we love to disagree and talk about it. So, send it on. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll catch you next time on The Weekly Fix.